Hey guys, it's Sam, and this is my spoiler-free review of Furthermore by Mafi. I picked up an arc of this at this year's BEA. This is a standalone middle grade story about a girl named Alice, and she is born in a world that is full of color and full of magic, but she herself is almost completely devoid of color except for her eyes. So she has always felt like she is an outcast and that she doesn't belong, except for she has a really close relationship with her father. But 3 years ago, her father mysteriously went missing, and so she's been living with her mother, and it is almost her 12-year-old birthday where she will be kind of performing her magic and hopefully getting a quest to do something and get out of this town. But right before that happens, she ends up meeting somebody from her past, and they have some interesting information for her, and everything kind of takes off from there. So first off, two things. I really enjoyed Mafi's young adult series, Shatter Me. I just really enjoy it, and I flew through it, and it just is like candy to me, and although it has its problems, I'm somebody who's firmly in the yes camp for that. But I also tend to have kind of, not a problem with middle grade, because it's not a bad negative problem, but I tend to not get super invested in middle grade, so I was interested to see what I felt about this, because on one hand I felt like Tejada's writing would really work well in middle grade, but on the other hand, I was like, I'm not usually a fan of middle grade, and like, what am I going to do with this? So I was very interested to see what I would think of this. First off, let me talk about the world building. I felt that this world building was very similar to the Fairyland series by Catherine M. Valente. This whole book really felt similar to that, not in a bad way, in a really good way, because I think the Fairyland series has a really unique way of kind of creating its own fairy tale, and this was really its own unique fairy tale. It brought in some fairy tale tropes, it turned some tropes on their heads. It was a really cute way of doing things, so I really liked the world building with this. Definitely like a lot of middle grade that I found, and I haven't read a ton of it, so I'm not an expert or anything, but the ones that I have read, you tend to just get dropped into the world and you don't really know anything about it, and that's pretty much how this was, but it works for this kind of fairy tale whimsical setting, and it's very bright, you can picture everything really clearly in your head, and it's definitely a world that is very unpredictable and not like our own, and you definitely feel that through the characters and through the writing and through everything, so I felt the world building was very complete for this and very immersive. Next, let me talk about the characters. Alice, as a main character, is very spunky, very precocious, your very wonderful middle grade protagonist that just dives in head first, is a little bit stubborn and impulsive, and doesn't really think, because they make some of the best protagonists because they just go on these adventures and don't even think twice about it, and that's very much how she is. She is very smart, so I don't want to say that she doesn't think, she does, but at the same time she has a temper on her, she's very feisty, and she's very stubborn, and that's kind of the best combination for any protagonist, honestly. Like, adult protagonists too, like that's my favorite, so this really helped me as far as a middle grade book to just really get into this character because she is so spunky, and I love that about her. The other character that she meets up with is also a nice kind of yin and yang for her. They're very different than she is, but they also have enough similarities and they bounce off each other really well, and they had a really cute friendship that formed that I really enjoyed. And then as far as the other kind of side characters that we get, again, since it's kind of like a fairy tale, you get all these little like side helper characters or hurt characters, you know, that just kind of either are helping them or going against them, and they're all very interesting, whimsical, you know, eclectic. It just really worked with that world and was very cute, and very everything that you could picture would be in this world kind of showed up in this world, which I really liked. Lastly, let me talk about the plot. I enjoyed this plot. I thought it was very cute. It went different directions that I wasn't necessarily expecting. There were things that were obviously like very kind of fairy tale tropey, going on a quest type thing. But at the same time, I wasn't really able to predict where things were going and how things were going to kind of end up, so I really liked that. I was always on the edge of my seat with this. I didn't know what was going to happen to them. There was also kind of shorter chapters in here, like interspersed, which I tend to like for these kinds of stories because you just tend to fly through them because it's written very fast-paced, things are constantly happening, and again, this world is so magical and just eclectic and mysterious that you always kind of want to know what's going to happen next and what they're going to run into next because it's such an unpredictable place. So like I said, it feels very much like the Fairyland series and that kind of eclectic, building its own fairy tale type thing, so if you're a fan of that series, I think you'll definitely enjoy this one. So I found this book to be very cute and full of heart, but ultimately because it's a middle grade, and like I said, I don't really tend to get super in and invested into middle grade, I wasn't as attached to this as I could have been, but again, it's very kind of light and fluffy, but not, because there is some like sinister twists to it. So it's very on par with a good middle grade, so I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So comment down below and let me know what you thought of Furthermore. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye!